Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis isn't ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold up, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up. Weekdays, catch us live, somebody. Let's go.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys are all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. Hello, hello, hello. We got some things we got to get into, and this is some very, very, very interesting stuff. We got a lot of very interesting stuff coming out. We also have some breaking news in regards to Elena Moore that we got to talk about as well. This stuff just dropped recently, and we do have some breaking news in regards to Carmelo Anthony as well. So we got some things to get into today. All right. This isn't going to be a super long show. I will say that, because it is the evening time. All right. Been a busy time for me. Okay. But we are here to discuss and talk about all the stuff that's going on. What's up, JLK? What's good, everybody? Good morning, or good evening. Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, every single last one of y'all. Again, like I said, hopefully you guys are all good out here in the hood. Yes, we got some updates. Yeah, there's a lot of updates here, guys, so we're going to get into it very quickly. So do me a favor. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Subscribe right here to my YouTube channel. Please and thank you. Subscribe right now. Please, and do that for me. Subscribe right here on the main channel, right here on YouTube. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. That's very important, because a lot of things that I'm talking about here get chopped up and thrown over there on the second channel, just in case you miss a story or you just want to relive that moment again. It's over there as well. Okay, so go and check it out. Subscribe to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all, so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because honestly, it is random. It is random right now. It's going to be like that probably till the fall. Sorry. It just is what it is. That's why it's so important to make sure you hit that notification bell and set it to mother loving all. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com. We got some really great stuff over there. Go check it out. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys. We got to get straight into the meat and potatoes. Hopefully you guys are all good. Hopefully this show finds you in great spirits. Hopefully you guys had a good, prosperous Father's Day. Let's just talk about that for a second. Hopefully it was wonderful, guys, fellas, and mamas, because some of you mamas have to wear the daddy hat too. So shout out to you guys for being so fire, so amazing. Okay, let's be real. Thank you so much to all you single parents out there that have to wear multiple hats. In fact, for all you dads out there that have to wear the mom hat too, because you're in you got a single household type of situation, right? Thank you for being that. Thank you for being a friend. You know what I mean? Thank you so much for being a dad and a mom. You know what I'm saying? At the same time, because it's tough. Okay. It's tough for just the mom and dad. If you got a dual parenting household, it'd be hard out here. You know that. Parents, you understand. Some of y'all rocking yourself back and forth in cold showers. You feel me? You know? PTSD. Because of the children. Okay? Not because of how you were raised. You getting traumatized by a 2-year-old. You understand? Y'all need to pat yourself on the back. Okay? Y'all need to pat yourself on the back, because you survived today. And guess what? Tomorrow's another day. I'm sorry, but it is kind of crazy that you have to do it. Is lather, rinse, and repeat again tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah. Parents who are doing the parental thing the right way, Y'all deserve awards. There should be an Oscars awards, okay? An awards ceremony for parents. I'm just being real. Okay? I'm just being real. There should be an award ceremony for parents. Do you know how much we have to go through? Do you know how much we all have to go through as parents? Damn. Roll out the red carpet. Sans Lego pieces on the ground. Okay? Food is cooked for us. You see what I'm saying? We don't have to do a damn thing. Not a damn thing. You understand? You understand? Every father gets a toilet of their own so they can sit there and poop for however long that they want. Okay? Mamas can drink all the white spritzers they want. You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? And the award goes to the father who was able to stop the tantrum from actually happening. The award goes to Johnny Michaels. Oh my God. You know what I mean? That's what I want. I want an award ceremony for parents. I said it. Okay? Or the parent that put the kid to sleep the fastest award goes to. And no, you didn't have to use anything to make them go to sleep. You just had to put them in bed. You know what I'm saying? Maybe rock them a little bit. And they went to sleep. You know what I mean? Champagne for everyone. Mama gets like all moms at the award ceremony get a good foot rub, and it's not done by the husband. You know what I'm saying? Come on now. Come on. Loads of laundry are taken care of for you that day. All I'm saying, you know what I mean? You feel me? And it's dry cleaned. It's not just them throwing it in the washer in hopes the stains get out. No, it's all dry cleaned. Folded neatly, placed back in the hung or placed back in the drawers. You know what I'm saying? So you walk back in the house, you're like, oh my Lord, this is a completely different house. I have not seen the floor in my family room in I don't know how long. Wait, we have carpet? Get the hell out of here. Baby, come here. We got carpet. Baby, I ain't never seen the carpet before. I thought it was just Legos and baby dinosaurs and Bluey figurines. That's it. We got carpet in here, baby. Damn. You know what I mean? A full day where you can watch anything you want and not miss Rachel. Yeah. Don't get me wrong, she's fire. I'm just saying, if I have to hear red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, I might shoot myself. All right, I'm done. I'm just saying, you at some point you're like, I'm done. We deserve an award ceremony. Every single last one of us that are parents, the good ones, because some of y'all are terrible, but the good ones deserve an award ceremony. Thrown by professionals, not by the children, because it will be mud pies and like sculptures made out of wet toilet paper. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Okay? Just saying. Just be nice. Would just be nice. We work very hard out here, guys. Okay? Just saying. Just saying. But let's move on. We got to get into some things, okay? All right. We got to get into some things. We got some new updates that I think are very, very interesting. And it all has to do with, and if you feel what I'm saying, hit the like, okay? Hit the like button down below, dagnabbit. All right? It's a simple ask. I'm not asking for much, okay? Hit the like button down below. Let's send those likes all the way up as you guys start to venture into the show, okay? Now we got to go into some serious stuff. I know. I wish every single show could just be us just side-splitting comedy every show, but it's not like that, unfortunately. We gotta get into the nitty-gritty and into the serious stuff. So we're going straight into this because this just came out. Okay, right as I was getting things ready, right as we are starting to cook and do our thizang, this just came out. Now, if you guys don't know what I'm talking about, Elena Moore, she is the personal trainer, 39-year-old personal trainer that went missing just about 2 weeks ago. Of course, her body was found in Lexington, South Carolina, just a week after she was reported missing. And obviously, all of us are wondering, did this have anything to do with foul play? Is foul play a result or a cause, of her actually losing her life? Well, that's going to make things very, very strange, okay? This is going to be a very, very strange piece of information because apparently they're saying that there is nothing on her body that can give off any sign of foul play. In fact, her cause of demise is still undetermined. They still don't know what the heck happened to this poor woman. Still don't know. Take a look. So, in the death of Elena Moore, a personal trainer in South Carolina who was confirmed dead last Friday, remains a mystery for now. Her autopsy found no obvious cause of demise and no signs she suffered any traumatic injuries, meaning no GSWs, gunshot wounds, no pokey, no sharp objects, no puncture wounds of any kind. Nothing on her body shows a story of foul play. Weird. Authorities say the examination revealed no bruising, no cuts, no GSWs, gunshot wounds, no stab wounds, blunt force trauma, strangulation, or other external injuries. I had to say that stuff low because those are all trigger words. Sorry, just letting you know. Leaving investigators waiting until they can determine exactly what happened. So they still have no idea externally what actually happened to this poor woman. Zero. And everybody's been side-eyeing the husband. Okay, everybody's side-eyeing the husband, but she may have maybe heat exhaustion. I don't know. Thirst, starvation. I don't know. Now, of course, they are going to talk about toxicology, Southern Butterfly Girl. Okay, they are discussing that here in just a minute. Okay, preliminary autopsy was conducted Saturday, according to Lexington County Coroner Fisher, who says additional tests, including historical studies and toxicology screening, are still underway. So they still have not gotten any type of toxicology results. Those things take time, and we will get those at some point. But at the same time, nothing external on her body says, oh, there was a bruise here, so therefore maybe something happened here, or blah, blah, blah. Nothing. They're saying there's nothing on her body. So she just was found pristine, which makes no sense, right? Until those results come back, the cause and manner of her demise remain pending. So, as TMZ, the article we're reading here, previously reported, Moore disappeared 2 weeks ago, like we already know, leaving the Planet Fitness and heading toward a wooded area. Her husband reported her missing the very next day, sparking a massive search effort. Now, maybe she took a substance, but I feel like you would see something externally, you know what I mean, in her nose or, in her mouth or something like that. You know what I mean? If she had taken something where she would, OD, right? So this is very, very strange. Days later, authorities located a body in the same wooded area wearing clothing matching what Moore had on when she actually vanished. Authorities confirmed the body was Moore on Friday, and she was only 39 years old. Now, they spoke with one of her friends who claimed Elena had been acting paranoid in the weeks before her disappearance and told her during a brunch outing that she was scared for her life. For now, investigators appear to have more questions than answers, with the autopsy ruling out obvious physical trauma. but offering no immediate explanation of her death. It's very strange, guys. Again, what actually happened to poor Elena? Is it the elements of nature? The fact that she was out there for 6-7 days by herself. Now, if it was like Fent, you get what I'm saying? If it was Fenty, I feel like there would be some physical sign on her body if she was, you know what I mean? Now, of course, we got to wait for toxicology. Maybe hopefully toxicology will give a totally new narrative and a totally new explanation of actually what happened to this woman. But it is a very strange thing that she is gone and they can't find anything physically wrong with her, which is interesting. I don't know about you, but I'm scratching my head on this one. You know what I mean? What like, was she mummified? And you know what I mean? Like, was she put in a freezer and then taken out of the like, what actually, this is so strange. What happened? Right? Nothing on her body shows anything. Nothing on her body tells a story of foul play or an outside source doing something to her. I think that's a massive, massive situation. That's the other thing too, Patty, on Facebook. Did they say how long she had been passed? That's not what they're saying on this TMZ article. Maybe they do say that somewhere else. I don't know. But it's weird that her cause of death is still undetermined, still to this day. I just find it interesting, don't you? I find that very weird. But toxicology may say something different. But again, we got to wait for that. That could take some time. So we'll see what happens with it. And again, I would sit here and say this too, because everybody and their mama side-eyeing the husband. I would sit here and say, hey, before we start pointing fingers, before we start just assuming things, let's just chill for a second. Let's see what this toxicology results say, these reports say. And if it does say something that would give some semblance to something revolving around foul play, I just think that we need to harness the speculations and harness those fingers, okay? Harness those fingers pointing in that direction just so we can find out what's going on. And if there's foul play, then we start looking in certain directions. But I think it is kind of, it's reckless right now when we don't know what happened to her, okay? And I'm hoping that local PD, detectives and whatnot are doing their due diligence, looking at every single security cam that they can get their hands on that's actually working, that they can actually get their hands on, and they're combing through hopefully thousands of hours, okay, hundreds of hours, because she was only gone for, 6-7 days, but hundreds of hours of footage to find out what's going on. You know what I mean? To see exactly what happened and see if she met up with somebody, or maybe somebody went with her into this wooded area. You also got to remember if she was on something, if she was taking something that was, that could have taken her life, there would be some physical signs of that too, right? You know what I mean? Not all, but there would be some physical signs of that as well, right? So just something to think about for now. Now, there is something else that's going on in Montreal, which is obviously one of the main stories that we got to get straight into. So there was a shooting in Montreal. 3 people have lost their lives, that includes the shooter. Okay, that includes the person that did this. Now, there's speculation, there's rumor, people saying out here that the people that were targeted were Jewish Canadians. I don't know if that's entirely true. What I do know is that there was a shooting that happened. There was a shelter in place called in Montreal. Huge police presence showed up. An officer also lost their life in this exchange of gunfire, and a civilian also lost their life. So 3 people, a police officer, an innocent civilian, and the shooter himself gone. But let's take a look at this and see what the heck is going on here, because this is just pretty crazy.
This is a social media post by Montreal police stating that, quote, "It is with immense sadness that we confirm the death of one of our police officers in the line of duty. Further details will follow." So we do have just a little bit more information from Fox News stating that a gunman was neutralized following a shooting in Montreal that left one police officer and one other person dead. So this is just a social media post from Fox News right there. Authorities told Fox News that the shooting happened at the Côte de Neige neighborhood of that city. A second officer is also in critical condition. So this is some breaking news out of Montreal. A few details, but we continue to follow the very latest. And it does appear, I'm just going to ask my producer Charles to see that we are getting some video of what appears to be from that scene. And I just wanted to see if that is in fact the case. This may be some recorded video right here before we get to it. But yep, so this is just from moments ago, but take a look. I did want to share some video from the scene. This took place just moments ago. You can see the very heavy police presence in this neighborhood right here, as we have learned from officials speaking with Fox News that at least 2 people were killed, including one police officer in the line of duty, and the suspect neutralized. We also understand that there is a second officer who is in critical condition. So we are continuing to follow this, and of course, the very latest developments. This is just some more of that video that was taken moments ago of this scene. And you can see that it appears to be a residential neighborhood, very heavy police presence in the Côte de Neige neighborhood in Montreal, as we are working to get more information. Still unclear as to exactly what led up to this shooting, who this shooter was. We do know that one officer lost his life, another is in critical condition, but still no word in terms of who that shooter was, possible motive, what may have led to it.
So again, let me just say this again, okay? Aside from the actual assailant himself, okay, the assailant is gone, but there are 2 other ones, 2 other people, a cop that lost his life and a civilian that lost their life. But then there are 2 other people that were injured, another officer and another civilian that actually were injured as well. So again, in critical condition. So just so you guys understand what's going on, okay? This is very strange, but like I said, I'm learning this as much as you guys are learning this too, okay? But this is actually going on, or this just happened a little over an hour ago.
This is some of the recorded video right here. As you can see, one of those police helicopters flying over this breaking news scene, as police are working right now on this breaking news story. Shooting has left at least 2 people dead, including a police officer who was killed in the line of duty. That's according to Montreal police. And another officer is currently in critical condition. Police telling Fox News that the shooter has been neutralized, but still a very active scene there on the ground. This is video from just moments ago, and the camera panning there, giving us a better idea. This appears to be a residential neighborhood. We do know that this is the Côte de Neige neighborhood in Montreal, but we do see some of that police.
Okay, so your name?
My name's Heidi. Speaking with someone, let's listen in. Not now.
Oh yeah, make sure mine's uploaded. So Heidi, what's the situation? Like your kids are...
I dropped my son off to his haircut, and I was doing a work call right in front of PA, and my older son scootered here. And right when my phone call, I was on the call, and I see a cop on her bike pull up right in front of me on the bike, and looking around, and she literally stopped at the car in front of me, pointed her gun, And I was sitting on a call, starting to freak out, looking through my rear view mirror and seeing all the cops all the way back towards the Hilton. My dad works in Carry Square. I asked him to go see what was happening, and all of a sudden cops come swarming. About 20 minutes later, I had to move my car, but I didn't want to leave the area because my kids were there. I made sure they were hiding in the back of the hairdresser, which is closed today, but the hairdresser was nice enough to see them, so no one even knows they're in the building, which is next to PA. My son literally got here, I think, minutes before any of the shootings happened. He's on a scooter, so thank God. And I've been sitting here just waiting anxiously, not knowing what's happening. Been in my car for 2.5 hours.
They were inside getting their hair cut. You were out in the car, and then so they are still in the hairdresser.
They're still there.
You couldn't get in?
I didn't try because I was on a work call, and when I saw the cops, I couldn't even get out of my car, and then I had to pull away. But I won't leave the area because my kids are there, so I'm on a side street just waiting here for 2.5 hours.
How old are your kids?
16 and 14. Yeah, but thank God they're good. They're hiding in the back, freaking out and hungry, but
You've been able to speak with them?
I'm talking to them constantly and getting updates, but yeah, I just want this to be over, and I want to hug them and see them.
How are you feeling right now?
Nauseous. I mean, knowing that my son literally was on his scooter on that street with no protection other than a helmet and was minutes from when the shootings took place, I just don't, I haven't processed it yet.
So you saw a couple of guns drawn, but did you hear any of the shooting?
I didn't. My kids inside the hairdresser told me they heard gunshot. I saw the cop just draw her gun in protection, and then within minutes, I think she was on site first, and then other cops just coming and everybody putting vests on and running around. But I thankfully didn't. I've seen pictures and footage, but I haven't. I didn't see anything or active. I just saw the cops.
So you're just waiting for info, I guess.
I'm just sitting here waiting to know that I can take my kids home. Yeah.
And you said your first name's Heidi. Is
My
that
name's
Heidi?
Yeah.
And what's your family name?
Doctor.
Doctor, like you expect?
But I'm not a doctor.
Okay, with an E or an O?
DOCTOR.
Just checking.
Yeah.
Heidi, thank you so much. I hope everything goes okay. I mean,
Thank you.
really
Sure
it's a very
but
taxing haircut.
and they're leaving for camp in 2 days. So
Oh my gosh.
I just, yeah.
All right, so we were listening in there to an interview of a woman who says that her children were hiding inside a hairdresser's salon when this shooting unfolded. We do know, according to police in Montreal, that one officer is in critical condition as well as a civilian wounded. We also understand that another officer is in critical condition. I also wanted to share this with you. We do have a live press conference happening on this very topic in Montreal. We were just listening to it moments ago, and it was in French, but let's just transition to that. We're going to raise the audio and see if it's going to be also in English. It does look like this might be freezing just a little bit, so bear with us as we raise the audio.
Très importante pour la Montérégie. On était heureux de faire cette annonce-là. Avec with the chief, Cody Daibo, we've decided to postpone it. But Cody is a former peacekeeper himself, so as police officers, for us it was a duty to do so.
Parlez-nous de la cellule de crise, vous avez évoqué ça. Qui est là? Qu'est-ce que vous faites? Comment ça
La première ministre elle-même, c'est ce qu'elle a convoqué. Elle voulait s'assurer qu'on ait toutes les ressources nécessaires pour ce qui se passe présentement. Ce que vous m'avez demandé tantôt, c'est quoi le rôle du gouvernement du Québec? C'est de s'assurer, qu'on n'est pas dans les pattes du SPVM qui fait son enquête.
I'm going to see if I can get some other things here real quick. Let's take a look
Joining
at
us now, Yosef Haddad. His family owns the deli right beside where the shooting happened. Yosef, thank you for being with us. I can only imagine what sort of day this has been for you. How are you feeling right now?
Thank God, a bit better right now than before. Thank God.
Take me to the beginning, if you will. When did you realize something awry was happening?
So basically, I was downstairs in the restaurant at the deli. As usual, every day we open it, me and my brothers. And we opened it, as usual, 11:30 we open. Going outside the deli, I live right in front. So I went outside to get something from my house, and then I hear just shooting. And I see two guys with military uniforms running. And
two guys. Interesting.
I didn't know what's going on. I thought it was Canadian military. I didn't really know what's going on. So I just ran to my house, and I went to see from the balcony. And the shooting was continuing to go. And I saw the balcony. I saw one of the cops that died. I saw him literally fall down in front of us. And we heard bullets flying, with the whistling of bullets flying from the balcony. It was something that's very traumatic, that we hope nobody in the world should pass something like this.
I want to take you back to one of the first things you just said there, Yosef. You said 2 people in military outfits. Those were police officers, or those you believe were the potential suspects here? The police chief. Go ahead.
Yeah, I didn't know who it was. I saw them, and they were running. So you don't think you would see someone in military clothes starting shooting civilians. I thought it was the police or the military or SWAT team. I didn't know who it was. But after we got a photo on the building group, that one of the shooters, that they shot him, he was wearing the military clothes, the same outfits I saw them with.
Did you witness the exchange of gunfire between the suspect and the police?
Yeah.
I'm sorry that's something that you had to see. It's something you can't unsee, and hopefully something you never want to see outside your place of residence.
Never.
Yes.
This is my house. This is our community here. My business is here. Our family business is here. There's kids in the park. There's schools all over the place. We had, we just started to open, so we had like 5 or 6 customers, usual customers, to get their lunch, and they got stuck at the deli for like 5 hours. They were there.
Yeah. So here's the thing: this eyewitness is saying he saw 2 people in camouflage, 2 individuals in camouflage. But I don't know. I don't know where the second person is. You see what I'm saying? One person is gone. That's for sure. They're saying the shooter is dead, but we don't know if what he saw is correct. He may have seen 2 assailants. That may be true. He's saying that he saw 2 people in camo. Could it be a coincidence that one of the civilians was wearing camo too? I don't know. It just seems a little bit weird, don't you think?
It was really a situation where nobody would like to even remember it.
You were inside the deli yourself with 6 of those customers while you were in lockdown?
No, my mom was there. I went to my house to get something. Right when I went out of the deli, the shooting started happening.
And what could you see from where you were positioned inside your house? I understand that's right above the deli or next door?
Right, so it's right in front of the deli, so I can show you. I'm right in my house. I'll show you just the balcony, what we can see. We see already that they have taken out all the... there's people back on the streets. Police are starting to leave the place. I think they're starting to leave. There was the shooting where the Broadway Pizza is and the hotel.
It was outside?
Yes, it was outside. It was right here. So I was there. The shooting started. That's the deli. I ran to my building that is right here in front. And then I would look out the balcony, and right there in the corner was the whole thing that started shooting, the people running.
And
the cop that died, yeah.
Is that a playground right in front?
Yes. This is a playground. So every day, a lot of students come here to sit down, to study on the benches. A lot of kids come here from the daycares. There's a daycare in this building. There's a few daycares around. This place is very populated with people, kids, having, just playing in the park. And then suddenly these things happen, God forbid, it's very, very, very scary. And we don't know what's going to be the continuation here. That, we're very scared. We don't know.
Yosef, we know very little about the 3 people who lost their lives at this point. We understand 1 civilian was among the casualties. Do you know anything about that person?
Yeah, so sorry about that. Yeah, so 1 civilian that I know, he was shot. He's a very good customer of ours. And he was shot. We don't know what's going on with him. We heard he's in the hospital. Hopefully, prayers, God's going to help him to be well as soon as possible.
We understand 1 person suffered minor injuries in addition to that. Do you have any details on that person?
I didn't hear that. We're always on the group. We're always on alert. We're always seeing what's going on, because the son of one of the guys that got shot, one of the siblings that got shot, he lives here. So I talked to him, and he told me that his father's in surgery, and they're going to let us know what's going on. And that's all I know.
So everybody in your building is on a group chat of some sort, like a text or a WhatsApp chat. That's what you're referring to.
Yeah.
And from their perspectives, what were they witnessing throughout this chain of events?
Well, I hope none of them witnessed what I witnessed. That's what I hope.
Me too.
But you know, everybody has different balconies facing here, facing here. There's people that are right in front of the shooting and saw everything from literally. Not even, you know, just look down. You see it in front of you. People have lived there in front. I live a bit further, but you still can see everything from here, from there. A lot of people have seen this tragedy.
It was 11:35 in the morning when police say they received that 911 call because shots were fired. So were shots fired before police arrived, or from your perspective, was there only an exchange of gunfire once police arrived on the scene?
Well, I heard some big booms, one or two, and I thought there's a lot of construction sites around us, so I thought it was like something from there. So, but when I went outside, I saw what's going on. I saw two guys running with guns, dressed as soldiers, towards the pizza area there, and towards the hotel, in their hotel area. And so that's when I understood that it's not construction. There's something going on here. So I ran to.
And you're saying two people, while police were very clear that there was only one suspect. So perhaps more details will come to light as this investigation unfolds, such as always the case. When you're saying they're wearing military uniform, we're talking about sort of green and brown camo, or when we're seeing images of police officers, by contrast, they're wearing that very dark color. What did this person look like, who you were describing?
So I'm born and raised here in Canada, so I know what police officers and how the military uniforms are. There wasn't Canadian military uniforms; it was camel uniforms. I'm not sure from where, what, how, but I saw two people. I didn't see anything else. I saw two. I heard there was three. I heard one died. There was a lot of rumors that went around.
And more rumors likely will circulate until we receive official word from police. This will be an investigation that will take days, weeks, potentially months, and even longer to unfold. And Joseph, I'm sorry you had to witness.
Yeah, you know, obviously, I feel like nowadays we're so used to this kind of crap, you know? I feel like we're getting more and more desensitized by these kinds of things, right? And the fact that it's just right there, like in his backyard, in his front yard, whatever you want to call it. You know, it's very sad. The fact that this was right there in front of a very busy area, a playground where a bunch of kids, students, etc., can sit and chill and play and do all that. I think it's really sad. Now, there is some information here that was just posted from CBC News here. And they're saying that this shooter reportedly was linked to the incel subculture. Surprise, surprise, right? So they're saying our colleagues at Radio Canada obtained this photo. In fact, let me just show this to y'all. You might as well see it. Why not? You guys can see it as well. And I mean, it's a blurry photo. It's a pretty blurry photo, but you can see right there, guy looks like he's wearing some camo. It's one guy there, so I don't know. Maybe he did see two people. I don't know. He says he saw two people, but who's the second person, right? So they say our colleagues at Radio Canada obtained this photo showing the subject or the suspect. You can see he appears to be holding a gun, and it looks like a long weapon. He also looks like he's on the move. It's unclear at what point of the day this footage was taken. This assailant has been linked to the misogynistic incel, in quotations, involuntary celibate, subculture, all right? Members of the group commonly express exasperation over their inability to find a romantic or sexual partner, sometimes blaming women. Radio Canada was able to confirm that this assailant distributed a violent incel manifesto targeting women. The manifesto called for a violent revolution, invoking masculinist arguments. So invoking masculinist arguments. So we see that a lot, haven't we? Like I said, surprise, surprise. So he an incel, he a piece of trash, and he mad because he wasn't getting laid. That's basically what it is, right? They expressed their frustration over the fact that they can't get it in. Sorry to say it like that, but I'm going to say it like that. At this point, Why be nice to these assailants? Why be nice? F these mother lovers, okay? And because he mad, and he goes onto his little QWERTY keyboard and starts talking trash on these websites and pens a manifesto, all because women aren't finding him attractive? This is how you do it. I'm so angry, so I'm going to braca a whole bunch of people because I can't get my hand in somebody's cookie jar. That's just so stupid, y'all. It's stupid. But welcome to the stuff that we've been seeing. Not all of them are incels, but a lot of these guys that come in here and do these things that cause these mass tragedies, most of the time, they're mad because they're not getting laid. Ain't that something? I mean, obviously, all of them have other reasons why they're doing things and why they go after, why they do these certain types of tragic things, these disgusting, deplorable things, right? But at the same time, common denominator for a good portion of these guys is because they're not getting laid. That's what this incel thing is. I'm just saying it. I'm saying it just raw. I'm giving it to y'all raw. I don't care. Okay? They do it all nice, like, oh, well, incels. They just, these, they link to this misogynistic incel involuntary celibate. In other words, he would like to get laid, but he can't get laid. Do you understand? Members of a group commonly express their exasperation over their inability to find a romantic or sexual partner, sometimes blaming women. No, they blame women. And they blame all these dudes out here that, are probably, smashing all the time. And they're just angry. So in other words, they're so tired of going to P-Hub. They're tired of, beefing their stroganoff. Okay. That suddenly they go, here's another good idea. Let me just go pick up a weapon and start blasting people. That's a great idea. At some point, we just got to say it like it is. At some point. See, this is why you come to this show. You could go to like CNN or Fox News and they'll be like, oh, yeah, he was part of the incel community. He would go to Reddit and bitch about how he can't get laid. But they wouldn't say it like that. They'd say stuff like this. Going to a group chat expressing how their inability to get it in. I'm just saying. And then now they go, oh, let me go and do this stuff. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Welcome to the world that we live in. And what's sad about this is that now we're seeing this more and more and more and more. Okay. And I know I sound like a broken record because I say this stuff every single week, it feels like. In fact, there are shootings that I decide not to talk about because they happen so damn often. Okay. I know that it would be stroganoffing their beef. Yes, but that's why I said beef they're stroking off. Okay. Okay. But again, yeah, you guys aren't eating any pasta today. No pasta. No pasta. Sorry. Some of y'all are eating a bowl of spaghetti right now. You're like, oh, snap. I'm not doing that. Thanks, Pascal. You're welcome. But again, like I said, these kids are jumping to their little chat forums where they have their echo chamber. They say a whole bunch of stuff. They're getting angry. I understand we all have desires. We all want to be loved. We all want to give love and we all want to be loved. But at the same time, these kids are running out here doing stupid stuff like this and taking people's lives. For what? For what? It's just stupid. Let's continue on, though.
Andrew Hayden, great to have you with us from across the country today. We have some breaking news we're following from Quebec in the city of Montreal, where police are on the scene. And there are reports of gunshots in a residential neighborhood of the city, an area known as Côte des Neiges. Not a lot of details here, but police have shut down a major highway that runs north-south. This incident happened right near that highway, known as the Décarie Expressway. An emergency alert was also issued for an area nearby there for an armed and dangerous suspect. We're going to show you what the Montreal police are saying. An armed and dangerous suspect is in the CDN Côte des Neiges sector. Avoid the area bounded by Côte des Neiges, McDonald, Highway 40, and Queen Mary. If you are in the area, shelter indoor, lock the doors. More details to come. And that alert there in French means that there is a risk, an imminent risk to the public. People are being told to stay away from their windows, lock their doors. Again, we'll bring you more information as it comes in. But
yeah, again, I'm sorry, guys. I'm so tired of reporting these kinds of stories. Okay, I'm just so tired of it. I'm just so tired of it.
Witnesses reported hearing around a dozen gunshots. Online video shows armed police officers surrounding the door of a grocery store before smashing through the glass. An emergency alert went out just after midday, warning of an armed and dangerous suspect. People in the area were told to shelter inside, lock their doors, and stay away from windows. CTV's Quebec Bureau Chief Geneviève Beauchemin is close to the area in Côte des Neiges where the mass shootings took place. And Geneviève, a frightening situation for police and for residents. So walk us through what happened today.
Absolutely, Sandy. These were terrifying moments that have launched a massive investigation here. The chain of events began at about 11:35 this morning with a 911 call that went out to police. Apparently, someone had seen the barrel of a gun protruding from an office building, and so police responded to that call. There was an exchange of gunfire and really just led to all these events here. I spoke to one witness, John Alexander, who was actually in the grocery store just a minute before. He walked out of the grocery store and then he started to hear those gunshots and the exchange that happened. Here's what he had to say.
The active shooter was like in front of me.
You saw him?
Yes, I saw him. It was a white dude, old dude, with a camouflage, with a shotgun on the hand. So that's very scary.
Scary, Geneviève, and it went on for hours. The operation, the police chief said, is over, but he was very emotional when he spoke to the public. Did he indicate a motive?
He was absolutely very emotional. He did not talk about a motive. We did hear from that witness, as you say, that he was wearing camouflage. The suspect was wearing camouflage. That is something that the police chief said was so. But then he said this was just the beginning of the investigation. This is a difficult day for the Montreal police. There has not been, of course, an officer killed in Montreal here, shot and killed in the line of duty in 24 years. And the police chief, Fadi Daguerre, had this to say about what this was like to deal with today.
Hold on, we gotta react to that. A police officer has not lost their life in Canada in 24 years, or at least in Montreal, in 24 years. See, that tells you something. I mean, it's sad that this is even, the fact that we're even talking about it, it should be 2,000 years, right? It should be an infinity. But it is pretty insane that we have officer-involved deaths constantly in America. 24 years? Put that in perspective for a second. That's just, it's heartbreaking no matter what. But it does give you an idea of how certain countries are handling, how certain countries handle or, how they have these types of shootings. You see what I'm saying? Because we have them every day out here in Wild Wild West, America. But Canada, that's just shocking.
It's a very, very sad day. It's a nightmare. And but we have to be solid. We have to be solid for our lady police officer who survived, and we're all behind her. And
that's what I'm trying to find.
That's it.
Now, I want to find that. I'm going to try to see if I can find that. Hold on.
The police chief said he spoke to the family of the young officer who was killed, to his brother, and that this were devastating times and that the police will get to the bottom of what happened here.
Okay, let me see if I can find. Okay, there was a press conference. Hold on.
Welcome back.
So, press conference. Let's see what this is. I'm only going to play a little bit, like just get the meat and potatoes here. Okay, just so we can get a better understanding of what actually happened here. Let's rock and roll.
Back to CTV News Channel, I'm Carolyn Jarvis. Police in Montreal are providing an update on a shooting that left 3 people dead. Let's listen in.
Mesdames et messieurs, bonjour. Voici ce que je peux vous dire en ce moment.
Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I
Appel
can tell
logé
you
au
today.
911 vers 11h35
At 11:35.
6939 Décarie à l'hôtel Hilton par un citoyen ayant vu un canon sortir d'une fenêtre et entendu des coups de feu.
A civilian
Les
came
policiers
out
répondent
when
à
he
l'appel, arrivent
heard
et se font
gunshots.
tirer dessus.
He
Échange de
called
coups de
for
feu
help
à
and was
l'extérieur
shot.
au niveau de la rue.
Hold on, let me see if I can. Let's see what's going on here.
Some later.
I'm trying to see if he says it again in English, maybe.
Sure. When I said seeing, we
Great police officer. A lot of chief as my team. Voir que nos policiers ont intervenu si rapidement.
Officers with their guns up.
The suspect himself. Right now, what I can tell to the population, eventually, all this area going to be free of passing, but...
Okay, I'm going back, sorry. I wanted to see if they were going to, if he was going to repeat it again, in English, but he doesn't, it looks like, so we're just going to have to listen to what's going on here.
for help and was at the level of the road. A suspect was neutralized and is dead. A citizen dead.
Un policier décédé.
A policeman dead. Another one in a critical but now stable condition. I'm sorry.
Un citoyen a été blessé légèrement.
A civilian was lightly injured,
Le suspect a été saisi.
and the suspect was seized. This is the current situation. Currently, we are securing the area and searching for other victims, examining the crime scene. We have no information regarding the suspect. We are asking the public to avoid this area. Those who are within our perimeter stay inside until new order. When the police have been alerted, we are devastated by this news. The SQ will take charge of the sector and then determine which department will take charge of the event. We'll come back to you when we get our information. All information and verifications are ongoing now. I cannot confirm anything. It was a lot of chaos, and we're following the event. This is more than terrible. This is a drama and a tragedy. This is one of the very worst nightmares.
So Patty just asked on Facebook, as far as you know, are there any children that were hit by bullets? No, they have not said any of that, and I feel like that would have been the first thing that they would have reported when they say about the civilians that actually were either injured or unalived. So they have not said anything like that at all, just so you know.
What do you know about a vehicle? We've got information similar to what you're saying, and through the investigation, we'll know some later.
Mr. Daguerre, it's my understanding that a member of the Jewish community was shot, potentially by police. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
What did you say?
I heard that a member of the Jewish community
I don't have this information.
Okay.
Who was the civilian who was shot?
I don't have the information yet.
Who shot the civilian?
I don't have the information yet.
Can you tell us?
We were right on the operation right now.
Can you tell us in English how you're feeling today?
Je m'excuse.
Can you tell us in English how
sorry.
you're feeling today as the leader of the police?
It's a very, very sad day. It's a nightmare. But we have to be solid. We have to be solid for our lady police officer who survived, and we're all behind her. And well, that's it.
Have you spoken to the family of the officer who died?
I spoke.
We'll take questions in French first, please.
On a demandé à évacuer. On veut pas prendre aucune chance.
Oratoire Saint-Joseph, we are evacuating to take no chances. We want every sector to be properly secured. There's no information that there's other events beyond the perimeter, but we still wanted to broaden the crime scene just to be sure that we have all the details. Is the operation completely finished? No, it's not finished. No, we're undergoing it. Is it a suspect who acted alone? We don't have information on this yet. We're still waiting to see what his motive and intent. It happened just a short time ago, and we don't have very much information, but eventually the investigation bureau and the police will find it. What's important is to make it as safe as possible for the public that lives in the area. And once this is secure, we'll know. How many? What do you have to say about those who are working here? You have all my admiration, the courage to serve. It's dangerous and it's worrisome to see these crimes in 2026. But I really do stand behind my men. Not just here, but I hope everyone is vigilant. I hope everyone is vigilant these kinds of events. For 24 years since 2002, Mr. Lecuyer was killed for a Montreal policeman.
Non, excusez-moi, quand je dis plusieurs scènes, c'est les périmètres.
It's a perimeter. When I said scene, we made it larger to be sure that the situation was truly secured. So we extended it to Oratoire Saint-Joseph. But we have no one else, no other suspect, except for the one that's neutralized. Did you deploy the police before? We will give you a report as we advance. After the investigation bureau takes over, and then we'll be able to tell you all these details. This is the first time that this happened to your police department? You're thinking of the family, of course, but you, how do you feel? You know, I am in operation mode. The chief and the director of police service in Montreal. I'm in investigation. I'm trying to remain as focused as possible and set aside my emotions. As I said earlier, they have all my admiration, and I hope they remain vigilant, and they're very important to me. Inaudible. I don't know what to say. It's a nightmare. But the chief has to remain strong, and I will stand by my troops. We're going to do the investigation, and then we'll report to the investigation bureau once it's been secured. So the important thing was to secure the site, and they advised us immediately of the event. They took about. They said we have to secure the perimeter and be in charge and be sure that the public is safe. Make sure that all evidence is maintained for organizations like the Investigation Bureau, and then we'll have to manage it internally. Have you identified the shooter?
Décédé.
It's a suspect who has died.
Qu'est-ce que vous pourriez dire pour rassurer la population?
What can you say to reassure the public?
C'est ça qui, je dis tantôt dans mon discours,
That's what I said earlier in my speech.
faisant extrêmement attention aux médias
You
sociaux.
have to pay close attention to social media. What I want to tell the public is that the immediate threat was neutralized to be safe. The incident that concerns us today, the suspect in this case was neutralized. And then afterward, we'll see what his motives were and all that, but
Voir que nos policiers ont intervenu si rapidement.
to see that our police put an end to this so quickly at a risk of their life, we lost one, and another was injured. The public can be reassured that their police corps is able to take care of this. No better example than this.
Why is there so much searching? We've seen officers with their guns out. If they're like, why?
Well, at the beginning, we didn't know what we were expecting. We didn't know what we were facing. That's why we had one crime sign, and then we had a different perimeter in different area, just to make sure that we really neutralized the right person, the suspect himself. Right now, what I can tell to the population, eventually, all this area going to be free of passing, but from the beginning, we wanted to make sure that we really bring the security in the priority for the citizen. So sometimes the population can react like, how come they're blocking everywhere? Well, as a chief, as my team, we want to make sure that all the citizens are secure before we open the street and the road.
You spoke to the brother of the victim the officer who was killed. What was that discussion like?
It was a very tough discussion, very tough, and very difficult moment.
The shooter?
We don't know yet. We don't know yet. I'm hoping that we're going to find out what was his motive, but we don't know yet.
How long were the officers on the force? How old are they, the ones who were...
Those details I will give it to you a bit later, but he was a great police officer. A lot of credibility, and he was so passionate. Very passionate.
At this point in time, is the situation over and is the community safe?
At this point, the immediate threat is controlled, safe, so the community is safe.
When the notification was...
Well, everything started around 11:35, and then went on. Right away, the police officer, the lady and the police officer who died respond to the call immediately, and there's an exchange fire on the level of the streets right away.
Why was the alert sent out? We've seen shootings before, but on our phones we got an alert saying children.
Yeah, we wanted to make sure that the whole population knew about it and to avoid a certain area. That's why we did it right away.
But when the alert had been sent out, was the suspect already dead?
Say again, sorry?
When the alert had been sent to people, was the suspect already dead at that point?
Well, yes.
Yeah. Do we have any understanding of when the civilian? Tell us a little bit more about was he killed a man or a woman?
Honestly, I can't go to those details because we know that the person, the main suspect, the way he was dressed and the way he was behaving, he's the one who got shot right away. But for the other person, I don't have the details yet. But eventually, we're going to find out more.
It looked like he was dressed in like military type attire.
This is what you're saying. We'll see.
Do you believe any other suspects are at large?
No.
At this point?
No, not at this point. I have no details, no intel coming this, but the way he was dressed, he's right.
And what about this idea that police officers could have been the specific target? Like this is a rumor going around.
Well, listen, we received a 911 call coming from a citizen. So I don't know, but I don't think it was police target, but maybe we'll see what the investigation will tell us. But it was a 911 call from a citizen telling us there's somebody who's shooting from a specific place. And at that moment, when the police came, that person wasn't on the different floors. He was already on the rez-de-chaussée. Then the crossfire starts.
Do you believe that the shooter called?
Let me finish in English.
Do you believe that the shooter called the police for an ambush or was a third party?
I don't have that detail yet. Ce que je disais tantôt, tout à l'heure, c'est que
what I said earlier was
11h35.
We got a call at about 11:35, and the police responded to that call. So a citizen had a witness call to say that there was someone with who was shooting. And the police responded immediately. And once they arrived, at the location. There was exchange of gunfire between them. And they were shot where? On the ground floor.
We don't have that detail yet.
Could you describe the firearm that was used?
No, not yet.
So it is possible.
It's a long range.
It's possible. Is it among the hypotheses that police were the specific target?
I don't have that detail yet.
Il y a une situation similaire qui a eu lieu hier en Saskatchewan.
A situation that happened with the RCMP in Saskatchewan. We can't make a comparison or a parallel, but this kind of event sometimes attracts copycats. And sometimes events happened in Australia or elsewhere. We see that others come, but we can't make that link yet.
Okay. So again, this is very interesting. I feel like this officer, the chief of police here, is being very very open, and giving a lot of information, because usually, obviously they don't know everything yet. Obviously this is a still developing situation, but the fact that he's taking the time to kind of give everybody a breakdown of what actually happened here does say a lot, and I do appreciate that. But again, yes, there are two languages in Canada, okay? Two main languages. It's English and it's French. So you're going to have a lot of people coming in asking, you're going to have reporters speaking to him in English, and he's going to talk to them in English. And then there's going to be people that are going to be like, talking in French, and he's going to talk to them in French, right? So again, I do appreciate this chief being very candid about everything that's going on here. And of course, everybody's very, you could tell he was choked up. He was very upset, because it's not every day that they talk about someone, okay, losing an officer in this kind of way. Like I said, it was 24 years since the last person, since an officer lost their life in the line of duty. So that's a long time, guys. That's a long, long time. So again, I appreciate him giving us some updates on what's going on here. And of course, if you guys want to watch the whole thing, by all means, go and check out the whole thing. But for right now, we're going to keep moving, because like I said, I don't have a whole lot of time, but I have enough time to give you guys the meat and potatoes of things that have been going on. This is just something that just recently happened, and it's just so sad that this has happened in this way. I'm praying for everybody over there. But I feel like that's what we're always saying. This gun violence needs to stop. And now it's happening everywhere, right? Everywhere. You see what I'm saying? It's happening everywhere. So these incels, these terrorists, these whatever you may want to call them, something's got to change. Something's got to change. And I'm going to keep saying that till I'm blue in the face. Okay. But we got to get into some other things for sure. Hold on one second. Okay. One thing is for sure, something that happened today. Diddy's mentor, Clive Davis, lost his life. He has passed away at the ripe old age of 94. That is a life well lived. I will say that. 94 is a long time, okay? 94 years old, Clive Davis, music executive, who's brought in the likes of, brought the world, okay, introduced the world to the likes of Whitney Houston, Bruce Springsteen, even Diddy, okay? He has just passed away. Now, there's a lot of people that are kind of reacting to this in a very controversial way. Some people they're saying exactly what I just said. Oh, the person who taught Diddy everything has passed away. And they're basically calling him a monster because of all the allegations that have been out here. And here it is. I don't have an opinion on that because we have not heard anything, okay, of proof of those things, right? There's allegations, but there's no proof, right? All I know is what he has contributed to the world of music and what kind of legacy he's leaving behind. That's basically it, right? So let's take a look at this. So Clive Davis, the music executive who founded Arista Records and J Records and helped shape the careers of Whitney Houston, Bruce Springsteen, Aretha Franklin, Carlos Santana, Janis Joplin, Alicia Keys, Carrie Underwood, and many others, including Diddy, passed away on Monday, today, at his home in New York City. He was 94 years old. His death was confirmed by his longtime rep, Eliza Rabinoff, who added in a statement that he passed away peacefully from age-related illness, surrounded by his family and loved ones. Davis had faced several health issues in the recent years. In late May, he was hospitalized in New York City following an upper respiratory issue. He was released a few days later, with a rep saying at the time that the music mogul was, quote-unquote, in good spirits and happy to be recuperating at home. In 2021, he was diagnosed with Bell's palsy, a serious but temporary condition that causes sudden weakness in facial muscles. The diagnosis forced Davis to postpone his famed annual pre-Grammy Gala, which has been held the night before the ceremony every year since 1975. So his legacy in the music business spanned a remarkable 7 decades, 70 years across varying genres of music. After being named president of Columbia Records in 1967 at the age of 35, he scored hits in such successive in each successive decade with a diverse group of now iconic artists, including Joplin, Barry Manilow, Whitney Houston, the Grateful Dead, Notorious B.I.G., Diddy, Keys, Alicia Keys, and Kelly Clarkson. Okay, he's the ultimate longtime player. This is what Bruce Springsteen's manager told Rolling Stone in 2008. He was a label head in the 1960s. He was on top then, and now, 40 years later, he's still on top. That's remarkable. I don't think you'll see that happen ever again. I kind of agree. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty damn amazing. Okay. Oh wow, I forgot about that. Messy. Wow, I forgot. TLC held him at gunpoint. Yeah, he did a lot of people dirty. Let's not forget that too. He did a lot of artists dirty. Let's not forget that. Yeah, Alante. I'm going to be real. Watch how many artists start coming out now and start spilling the truth. They're like, well, now that he's gone, this mother lover, wait for it, because it's coming. It's coming. All right. But that's crazy that he, you know what I'm saying? Like he did some people dirty, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going to keep it a bean. I'm going to keep it a bean. He did some people dirty, son. A lot of artists dirty. A lot of them. Shoot. TLC went bankrupt. Okay? Like, these things I know to be true. These allegations, these are the allegations that I know of. The other stuff where they're saying, like, you know, he did some dirty stuff out there, I don't know, but I don't know. I've not heard anything. I have not heard anything about him being a dirty, dirty man in that way. I've heard him being a swindler. Like I was saying, TLC became one of the top groups during their time. And while they were on top of the world, they were broke as hell. Like, they were broke. Okay? Brokety broke. Okay? Bad. Okay? Bad. Very, very bad. So, again, it is very interesting when you got people out here. It is very interesting when you got that going on, when you got people out here that are, you know, saying certain things about Clive Davis. And I feel at some point, those people are going to be coming out. More and more people are going to be coming out. Just you wait. Just you wait, baby. Just you wait. All right. So, just saying that out loud. Okay? Just saying that out loud. Now, let's continue on. Okay? But yeah, apparently he screwed over a lot of people. Screwed over a lot of artists. And it was one of those things where he would literally charge them, the record companies would charge them for every single last thing that they had. Everything that was on their back, the clothes on their back, the food that they were eating, the gas that was being put into these tour buses were all charged back to the artist. So they're thinking, oh man, we're going to get out of this tour and we're going to have a fat check waiting for us. Nope. All the money, the makeup artists, the clothing, the buses, the transportation, the food, all that stuff gets reimbursed back to the record company after everything is done. All the music video shoots, everything. And that's why, like, TLC, of all people, came back with nothing. With absolutely nothing. So pretty crazy. But moving on. In a statement, his family wrote, "To the world, our father was the iconic music legend whose vision, instincts, and relentless pursuit of excellence shaped the soundtrack of countless lives. He discovered, mentored, and championed the greatest artists in modern music history, leaving an indelible mark on culture that will endure for generations. To his family, Clive was dad and granddaddy, the steady presence at the center of our lives, the source of wisdom, strength, encouragement, and unconditional love. No matter how extraordinary his professional accomplishments, he never lost sight of what really mattered most, the people he loved." Okay, at 22 years old, he changed my life when he signed me to Columbia Records. Springsteen wrote following the news of his death. Okay, he treated me with the same respect and kindness as a 22-year-old nobody, as he did after all my success. A great man. All our prayers and love. So active in the music industry until his death, most notably hosting an annual pre-Grammy party that often eclipsed the awards show in both attention and spectacle. Davis, whom Franklin called the greatest record man of all time, developed a reputation during his career as both a tireless champion of artists and a shrewd businessman who expected significant returns on his investment. There it is. TLC. Okay. He didn't want no shrubs either. He didn't want no shrubs. He didn't want no scrubs either. He wanted all his money back. Like I said, a shrew. He was a shrew of a businessman. He put his money out there and he wanted his money back quickly. And some of y'all like toot sweet. Toot sweet means quickly or very fast in French. We say certain things. We say different languages on this channel. Look it up. Toot sweet means quickly, fast, in a hurry. Look it up. You're welcome. Educate yourselves. All right. Moving on. A shrew. He wanted his money back. So John Sykes, former president of network development at MTV, once said he said he can pick a hit and the next minute tell you the exact number of sales. He's the only guy who can do that. So to Clive Davis, the visionary who transformed dreams into reality, leaving an indelible mark on music and lives worldwide. This is what Alicia Keys said on a social media post following his death. It was Davis. It was his unwavering passion and palpable enthusiasm for music that came through most strongly to his friends and collaborators. Quote unquote, if I were to draw a picture of Clive, it would be as a little child with a big heart and big ears, and probably a very big wallet that he wanted to have filled as well. Moving on. It's hard to separate the life I've lived with my career with contemporary music. This is what he said in Rolling Stone in 2017. I consider myself fortunate that over 5 decades and in a very tough business environment, music has provided a lifetime of unexpected pleasure and gratification. So again, this goes into his background, his upbringing and all that. And again, I mean, here it is. He might have been a shrew. He might have been a shrewd businessman who wanted all of his doggone money back. He wanted his investments back as soon as possible. That's okay. I get it. All right. But at the same time, he's one of many businessmen that have played the game dirty. Just keeping it real. Plenty of businessmen like Clive Davis out here that people are going highly revered. You know, his name will go down in infamy and all that stuff. Pretty interesting though, right? Because without him being who he is, without Clive Davis being Clive Davis, there would be no Alicia Keys, no Janis Joplin, no Whitney Houston, no Bruce Springsteen, no TLC. There'd be none of them. Interesting, right? There'd be no Diddy. Okay? There'd be no Diddy. So that's also something that I think is very interesting as well. So, may he rest in peace. I guess the question is, it's kind of like the R. Kelly thing. You know what I mean? Like, do you remember him for the business, for what he contributed, what he brought to the, to the world's zeitgeist, to the world, these artists, these incredible artists? I mean, think about this, okay? Aside from, Diddy, all right? Think about the Carlos Santanas, the Aretha Franklins, the Alicia Keys, the you know what I mean? The Whitney Houstons. Of all these people, you'd think, right? Do we think about the shrewd businessman he was? Or do we think of the legacy of music that he left behind? It's the R. Kelly thing. Do we step in the name of love, or do we stop the music because R. Kelly was R. Kellyan on all kinds of people that he should not have been R. Kellyan on? Same thing with Diddy, right? Do we push all that stuff aside when you hear a Notorious B.I.G. song with his voice on it? Or you still rock with it? Do you rock with it, or do you step away from it? Right? Now, let me just say this. He may have been a swindler, Clive Davis, but we have not heard anything about him doing any dirty things in that regard. Like a Diddy or an R. Kelly. We have not. I mean, maybe they'll come out now, right? But right now, he screwed a lot of people over. That's true. But just financially. So do we honor that? Or do we feel some type of way about that? Because that's a lot of music not to listen to anymore. You see what I'm saying? He's behind a lot of hits. A lot of them. So just something to think about as we continue on. Now, we have got to get into this conversation. This is interesting. Some new information just came out just a little bit ago, right before we went live. We got to get into it. And it has to do with Carmelo Anthony. I know, because some of y'all are crazy. And some of y'all are still even jumping into this conversation, into this chat, talking crazy. Okay? And here's the thing. He's already been found guilty. He's getting locked up. He's trying to appeal, but he's already been locked up. So we'll see what happens here. But what's interesting about this, okay? We're circling around this because this just happened. All right. Don't worry, because honestly, the controversy and the people with all their opinions and how people don't listen to what I say and they just take whatever they want to take from whatever they're watching and just assume I'm saying one thing when I'm not saying anything at all in that regard. It's insane. Okay. It's insane. It's exhausting. It is what it is. All right. But I do need to tell you guys about this. All right. So here it is. He's bringing out legal big guns to pursue this appeal. I don't know where he's getting the money or if these people are doing this pro bono. I do not know. But what I do know is that he is still trying for this appeal. So the fight for Carmelo Anthony's freedom is heading into the next round. And a new group of heavyweight attorneys are now leading his effort to overturn his conviction. Now, I will say this, okay? His lawyer sucked. His lawyer sucked. Doesn't matter if you're like, yeah, bury him under the prison, or if you're like, no, free Carmelo. His lawyer sucked. And we all can agree on that. I think we all can agree from across the political aisle. Okay, this controversial aisle. I think we all can reach across from it and go, yeah, his lawyer sucked. Because his lawyer did suck. His lawyer's terrible. He didn't have a fighting chance, y'all. Don't know how much money that lawyer got, but he ran to the bank with that money. I'm sorry. He took their money and he ran. He's like, Your Honor, Melo is an innocent man. And then that's it, sir. That's it, Your Honor. Really, that's it? Yes, sir, Your Honor. Are you sure you don't want to say anything else to argue to argue your client's case? No, sir. Melo's just he's a good man. He's just been misunderstood. That's all. The defense rests. What? It's trash. That's how fast it was. That's really how fast it was. Okay. So a team, including Texas NAACP President Gary Bledsoe, veteran appellate lawyer Russell William II, and a civil rights attorney, Brooke Cluse, announced Monday they're taking over Carmelo Anthony's case and will conduct an independent review of the trial record while pursuing all available avenues of appeal. He's already been moved. Okay, Carmelo has already been moved to his prison and all that. Okay, so that's what's going on here too. As TMZ previously reported, Anthony was convicted of taking the life of Austin Metcalf and sentenced earlier this month to 35 years in prison. Yep. The newly assembled legal team says its focus will be determining whether any legal errors occurred during the proceedings and raising any issues it believes could support overturning this conviction. I will tell you this, though. If he was doing something, or if they find something in regards to those witness testimonies, and those witness testimonies, a lot of them were committing perjury. I'm sorry, but they were. Here's the thing. One thing is for sure. All right. One thing is definitely for sure. Austin Metcalf lost his life at the hands of Carmelo Anthony. That is without question. All right. He did that. He even said it in the body cam footage. We already watched it. We saw it with our own two eyes. He did that. There's no question on that. All right. But the trial itself, I can see a lot of holes in the trial. I could see them trying to run this back. We'll see. Right? We'll see. But that's the thing. It also depends on if he's actually going to get an appeal. I don't think he will. I really don't think he will. But they're going to have to show solid evidence in this trial for them to get an appeal. So we'll see. We will see. But I just don't think he's going to get an appeal, guys. I just don't see it. I just don't. With all due respect. We'll see what happens. but I don't see him getting an appeal anytime soon. But hold tight, because I was thinking the same thing about Alec Murdaugh, Maggie, Paw. I thought the same thing about him. I was like, they're going to lock him up and throw away the key, and they're running that whole thing back all over again. So we'll see. We will definitely see. Okay, next thing we need to talk about. All right. Nancy Guthrie is back in the conversations again. Do you know it's been over 140 days since she went missing? I still can't believe it. Real talk, I am shook. It's been 140 days since she's been missing. That 84-year-old woman that was taken from her home in Arizona, nowhere to be found. Savannah Guthrie's mother, gone for over 140 days. She gone, y'all. She nowhere to be found. But here's something. Remember when there was a whole bunch of ransom notes that were coming out? Remember that? All these ransom notes basically saying, we know where she is. I just need some money, crypto money, and then I can disappear. And when I get half of it, then I'll tell you exactly where she is. And then when I do get that, tell you where it is, where she is, then you can send the other half, right? Remember all that crap? Well, now we're getting more information in regards to the actual ransom note itself. And apparently one of the ransom notes said or apologized for accidentally taking her life. But then it was still demanding millions of dollars for her body. Let's take a look at this. Very interesting stuff. So one of the disturbing ransom notes received by Nancy Guthrie's family included a chilling apology for accidentally taking her life. And this is what, according to a new report, a bizarre blackmail letter sent February 6th, around at the height of the time when she was taken, right? Offered her return, okay? Her body, to return her body, okay? In return for money. A source familiar with the investigation told Airmail. I don't know what Airmail is. Okay, moving on. The memo followed an earlier note to TMZ for the same sender. Or from the same sender, I'm sorry. So the memo followed an earlier note to TMZ from the same sender, which correctly described what she was wearing the night that she was taken and included information about a damaged floodlight in her backyard. Remember all that crap? Remember all that business? All that business? Remember that? Yeah. So again, we're back to that crap all over again. All right. So Guthrie, who's the mother of NBC News Today anchor Savannah Guthrie, was kidnapped from her home in Tucson, Arizona on the night of February 1st. Initial messages from the sender said Guthrie was safe but scared, and agreed to return her to her family if they paid $4 million in Bitcoin by 5 p.m. On February 5th. They added that if the ransom was not paid by the 9th, this would increase to $6 million, quote unquote, or else, according to Airmail. The apology note, which came from the same IPS as the initial seemingly credible emails, arrived at the Guthrie family's home on the 6th of February. It said that Guthrie had been accidentally unalived and offered to deliver her body back to the home for the sum, or back to the family for a sum of $4 million. So they're like, oops, she gone. Lo siento, our bad. Can we return her? But we need money. And then we'll return her body. Give us $4 million and we'll still return her body to you guys. Remember that crap? Okay. Remember, they also said something along the lines of like, time isn't of an essence. Remember, they were like, time is of an essence in the beginning. They're like, you better give us this money by this date or else, you know what I mean? She gonna gets it. Give us $4 million, $5 million, or she gonna get it. $6 million, or she gonna get it, right? Time is of an essence. Send us the money. via crypto, baby. And then what happened? What happened? They sent out another letter basically saying time is not of an essence anymore. Remember that? I remember that. Very interesting, right? So after Airmail's report was published on Monday, TMZ, which received the first note, said none of the letters contained an apology or stated that Guthrie was actually gone. TMZ reported instead that a man wrote in the first email that time is of the essence, but the next day followed up saying time is no longer of the essence, claiming the kidnappers had taken Guthrie to Mexico. The day after the ransom note was received, Savannah posted a heartbreaking clip on Instagram sitting next to her brother and her sister as well. We beg you now to return our mother to us so we can celebrate with her. Remember that? Remember that video? Remember that? Remember that? Very interesting, right? And we're all like, oh, that means she gone. That means they have an idea that she's no longer here anymore. That's it. If you're going to sit there and go, we need her so we can celebrate her with her. No, that means you're wanting to celebrate her life because she's gone. That's it. TV host pleaded in the video posted on her Instagram page. This is the only way we will have peace. This is very valuable to us, and we will pay. Savannah has since said she believes the ransom notes were real. She still believes that those ransom notes are real, y'all. As the investigation into Nancy's disappearance continues, federal authorities are re-examining these letters now, 140 mother-loving days later, for any clues about the captor's identity. They note that the ransom letters show that the captor is articulate and knowledgeable about the intricacies, okay? Intricacies, I don't know how you say it, okay, of cryptocurrency. Okay, let me just tell you this. It's called ChatGPT, baby. You can have somebody who's not very fluent, okay, or not as articulate or as or as knowledgeable about certain things, and just go into ChatGPT and just go, I need help me write this, and boom, you got yourself a letter. So for them to sit there and go, oh, the captor is very articulate. They could still use ChatGPT. They could still use AI. They still could. The fact that they apologized also suggests the kidnapper is not a cold-blooded cartel member as they had originally feared, but was rather a local opportunist. Sorry. Authorities are also probing the possibility that the abductor may have had an accomplice. I'm thinking he did. Okay? I'm thinking that he did. A masked man who was trying to remove Nancy's Nest doorbell camera on the night of disappearance. I think that there was another person there. I really do. I don't think that this person operated alone. Federal investigators say the masked man's bumbling attempt to remove or cover up the doorbell camera does not seem to align with their profile of the articulate and cunning suspect. The outlet reports, oh, how about this? You can have somebody be street smart, but then dumb as hell. You can also have somebody who's really book smart, but street dumb. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe this person's not a pro at this stuff. Never done a B&E. Never done a napping of any kind. Just because the person is articulate doesn't mean that they're not going to make stupid mistakes. You see what I'm saying? Plenty of very highly intelligent individuals that will do very, very dumb criminal things because they're not thinking. Just saying. Federal investigators say that, okay, well, I already said that. No suspects have been publicly identified in this case. According to the reports from Page 6 entertainment news outlet, investigators have uncovered only limited physical evidence, which we already know, including a single strand of hair and a glove found near Nancy's home, which came up bupkis. So the DNA evidence recovered near the scene has since undergone extensive testing at an FBI crime lab after initially being processed in a private laboratory in Florida. Remember what happened there? Remember all that crap? Thanos Nanos, right? That piece of trash. Sheriff Nanos basically saying, no, we're going to take it over to this laboratory in Florida. That's what we're going to do. No, FBI. We don't need the best labs of all labs to run this. No, I got a guy. He runs a lab out of his garage. But he's thorough. He's quick and he's thorough. I'm going to take it over there in Florida. No. We got this. We got this, sir. Thank you, sir. Crazy. Looking like a fool. And it's been 140 days. Still no Nancy. Pretty crazy. Here's the thing. TMZ has been pushing back. And I want to show you that too. Because they're going, oh, no. They're saying about this, lo siento, about her losing her life. But that's not what these letters are saying.
I want to talk about Nancy Guthrie and some communications I've had with the FBI that I haven't talked about until now. But I want to start with these reports that this ransom letter that we received kind of apologizes to Savannah Guthrie and her family for the kidnapping, and that that Nancy was no longer alive. That was not in the ransom note that we received. It is not in that ransom note at all. It does say that she's scared, but okay. But the ransom note makes no reference to Nancy Guthrie either dying or the kidnappers apologizing. Now, there is a reference to Nancy Guthrie not being alive anymore, but that is from the person who sent us multiple emails saying that he knows or knew where Nancy Guthrie was and where the kidnappers were, and he wanted money in return for information. We passed that along to the FBI as we did the ransom note, but this person kept sending us emails, and early on he said time is of the essence, and then a few days after the kidnapping he said time is no longer of the essence, meaning she wasn't alive. So that's where that came from, not the people who kidnapped her, but from the person who was sending us these notes. Now that person wanted effectively $100,000. He actually reduced it at some point, but that's what he wanted in return for giving information about the whereabouts of Nancy Guthrie or her remains and the kidnapper. This person also said that he was afraid that he might be implicated. He had a burglary on his record from, I think he said 11 years before. And apparently he knew these kidnappers well enough that he was afraid he might be implicated. He also said he wanted to go underground, which is why he needed the money, because he was afraid that they would exact revenge on him for blowing the whistle on the kidnappers. So the FBI never paid that money, or never got the Guthrie family to pay the money to the person who was sending us these letters, these emails. I will tell you that the FBI did put around $270 in the Bitcoin account of the kidnappers. And we knew that. We were asked not to talk about that while all of this was going on. But they wanted to see if they could trace that person. They couldn't.
Now, remember, they did say something about putting a little bit of money into that, into the well, at least from TMZ. They said that they put a little bit of money into the Bitcoin or in the cryptocurrency thing just to see if if there was any activity, but they didn't really go all the way, dropping a whole lot of money. Remember, I even remember people were sitting there going like, "Damn, why don't we just why doesn't TMZ just pay for it? Pay the $4 million. They clearly can afford it. You know what I mean? Pay the money, see what happens, and then get your money back eventually." But it's interesting that he's like, no, they put in a whole lot more than just like a few bucks, and nothing came of it, which is interesting.
As for this other person, the FBI took it seriously. They felt, at least in my communications with them, and I had numerous communications, they felt that this person might indeed know. For some reason, they never paid or never asked the Guthrie family to pay that person for information leading to the identity of the kidnappers and Nancy Guthrie's remains. I was always confused about that because I'm a skeptical guy, but there's something about those emails that made me believe that this guy may well have known who the kidnappers were. And the reason I say that is that initially he said, in the first letter, he said, time is of the essence, meaning you better hurry up, I can tell you where she is. But then the next day he wrote, time is no longer of the essence. If somebody is scamming and wants to get money, why would they say time is no longer of the essence? You want to say, no, time is still of the essence, so you can get the money and make people feel that it's urgent to pay it. For him to say it's no longer of the essence, to me it felt more truthful because he was taking away the urgency to pay the money. So I always had this gnawing sense that he might be indeed legit. But for some reason, the FBI never pulled the trigger to pay the money. So around 3 weeks ago, I called the FBI back. I hadn't heard from them in a while. And I said, look, it's been gnawing at me for a long time that there's something about this guy that felt legit. And I said, look, what if TMZ does a documentary and that we try and get in touch with this guy and even pay the money? And if he takes us to the location, then you get resolution. The Guthrie family gets resolution. And if he scams us, he scams us. But I just had this real feeling that it might be real. But we didn't want to interfere with the investigation. So
Interesting. He says, and I don't know. I mean, now I'm just trying to remember certain things that he said. You know what I mean? That what Harvey said back in the day. I don't remember him saying that he believed the ransom notes. I don't remember that. I remember him like side-eyeing it like crazy, but still talking about it. And it's just interesting that we're having these details coming out now, and now it's well, we could have just given the money, and but it's like, well, it's 140 days later, man. Like, damage is done,
So the contact I had at the FBI said, look, that's interesting. Let us get back to you. And I talked to him a few days later, and he said, well, it's something they're looking into. And I thought, okay, fine. And then a week passed, and I called back and left a message, and usually my messages were responsive, where they would call back, and I got nothing back. And I've called a half a dozen times since over the last couple of weeks, and I've gotten nothing back. For some reason, the FBI has gone radio silent on me, and we have had ongoing discussions because we've tried to be helpful over the many months now that this has been going on. But they've ghosted me, and I don't know what that's about. But I've kind of not talked about it, but at some point, I just want to put it out there that, this felt like maybe we could do some good. And for some reason, the FBI has gone radio silent. I don't understand it. I'm not suggesting that the FBI is doing anything wrong because they've really tried to solve this. But it's just curious to me that this one guy who has sent us, I think, around a dozen emails, it's just somebody that I felt knew something. But for whatever reason, this is all kind of evaporated into thin air.
A lot of it has evaporated into thin air. And I mean, again, it evaporated in thin air a long time ago. You understand that, right? With this whole situation, this whole case is 140 days since she went missing. This case is ice cold. Now, I know that there's still content creators still talking about it to this day. And yes, I do know about content creators that are getting arrested outside of Nancy Guthrie's home. I find it to be weird. I find that weird. I don't know why people are getting arrested if they're not breaking any laws. I find that weird. At this point, I've been side-eyeing the sheriff of that town, the sheriff of that department, since the day he started not working alongside with the feds. From that moment on, that was a big problem. What I have a problem with too is that we keep hearing certain things from the news, and then he'll be the first one to jump out there and go, that's not true, only to find out that information that was leaking was actually true. This is the problem that we're having here. And it's not a good look, if you ask me, when it comes to someone who's supposed to be serving and protecting and getting down to brass tacks and finding this mom, this grandmother, finding Nancy, and he has not done anything. I don't know why this whole thing has gone down the way it's gone down. He did not want press in the area at all. And he's still doing that to this day by arresting streamers that are out there that are just going over there to be like, here she is. I just want to bring awareness to what's going on, so on and so forth. Yeah, sure. Some of them are making money off of it. Absolutely. Okay. It's part of the game, baby. But at the same time, these people, from what I understand, aren't breaking any rules. From what I've heard, I'm not diving into it that deep because that's not the story. You see what I'm saying? Them going out there and they're getting arrested by local PD is not the story until it needs to be the story. You see what I'm saying? So again, it is just interesting, right? Beautiful Messy Ball just said, because they are breaking the laws, they're obstructing the roadway, throwing piss in the road. What? And harassing the neighbors? Watch. Okay. I'm going to have to look that up. Like I said, I have not been looking into it that much because to me, it doesn't matter to the Nancy Guthrie case. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm more concerned about, that's just drama. You see what I'm saying? That's just drama stuff that just fills up the space, fills up the lulls in between. But like I said, if the people are getting arrested and they're breaking laws, then they're getting arrested for breaking laws. You know what I mean? But if they're not breaking any laws and they're not doing anything wrong, then that's wrong. If they're just standing on the road and they have every right to be on that road, if it is true, then I don't see why people are getting arrested. But like I said, that is very interesting with that going on. And if it means that these streamers need to know or need to learn the laws so that they don't get themselves in trouble, then they need to start learning the laws of that area so that they can stop getting arrested and stop getting in trouble, because there are people out there that are stretching this case for as long as they can. And hey, it's still bringing awareness to her case. But 140 days of stretching this out, it's a long ass time, baby. It's a long ass time. Okay. Even Brian Enton stopped after a time. As soon as those cops came in and started putting up all these barriers and try to, we're just screwing over mainstream media. As soon as that happened, it's like, all right, this case has gone cold. And that's exactly what they wanted it to do. That's exactly what they wanted to have happen. Okay? Period. That's what they wanted to have happen. And Guthrie, not Guthrie, I'm sorry. Thanos Nanos got what he wanted, which is getting everybody the F out. Okay? They're squatting and loitering and doing nothing to raise awareness. Yeah, it's all bad. It's all bad. Like there just needs to be something better, you know? But there needs to be developments in the case too. Okay? There needs to be some updates in the case badly. And there's none. I mean, we have one right now, but this is all stuff from 140 days ago. You see what I'm saying? So we need some new stuff. Super May, thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really do appreciate it. But moving on, because, you know, like I said, I'm not here for the YouTube drama. I don't care for it. It's just BS, in my personal opinion. You know, but I understand, you know, I get it. I understand the interest. I understand the allure. But for me, I'm like, nah, I got better things to do. We all got better things to do than talk about all that. But if there's developments in her case, we got to talk about it. But right now, zero zilch, not a zippity doodah, which is pretty crazy if you ask me. And that's why I'm side-eyeing the hell out of the sheriff. I'm not saying he has something to do with it, but I'm side-eyeing the hell out of him, though. The way he's maneuvering, the way he's handled the whole situation, wrong. He shouldn't be sheriff, in my personal opinion. Okay? Just keeping it real with y'all. Now, there is something else I do want to talk to you guys about really, really quick. Okay? This is something that just happened, which I'm a little surprised about. And I think a lot of people are surprised about this. There is a verdict that just happened for a millionaire, okay? A millionaire Florida property manager by the name of George Pino, all right? A verdict just came out because this was like a big trial, allegedly. And we gotta look at this real quick, okay? So he has been found, first off, he has been found not guilty in this very terrible boat crash that took the life of a teenage girl. All right. So a millionaire Florida property manager has been found not guilty over the horrific boat crash that took the life of a teenage girl and left another permanently disabled after a birthday party on Biscayne Bay after a birthday party on Biscayne Bay descended into a catastrophe. So George Pino, he's 55 years old, was acquitted on manslaughter and vessel homicide charges on Monday evening following 8 emotionally charged days of testimony in Miami-Dade County. So the verdict brings an end to the criminal case over the September 4th, 2022 crash near Boca Chica Key when Pino's 29-foot family boat smashed into a channel marker while carrying his wife, daughter, and a group of teenage girls celebrating his daughter, Carolina Pino's 18th birthday. So, Lucy Fernandez lost her life. She was 17 years old. Her friend, Katie Pugh, I don't know how to say it, Pugh, I'm assuming, or Peag, all right, then also, at that time, 17 years old, suffered a traumatic brain injury and was left with permanent disabilities. So after hearing from these survivors, first responders, medical specialists, boating experts, and members of the victims' families, the 6-person jury returned not guilty verdicts. Pino did not take the stand in his own defense. In a statement after the verdict, Pino's lead attorney said the developer had maintained from the outset that the crash was a devastating accident rather than a crime. We are grateful to the jurors for their careful consideration of the evidence and for reaching a just verdict, his lawyer said. From the beginning, we have maintained that the events of what happened on September 4th, 2022 were a tragic accident, not a crime. Let's take a look at the reaction when he was found not guilty.
Signed by the foreperson, CF. In the Circuit Court of the 11th Judicial Circuit in and for Miami-Dade County, Florida, State of Florida versus George Pino. Case number F24-22896. Judge Marisa Tingley. Verdict. We, the jury, find as follows. As to count 2 of the information, vessel homicide of Luciana Cristina Fernandez, the defendant is not guilty. So say we all, on this 22nd day of June 2026, signed by the foreperson, CF.
Does counsel for either the state or the defense wish for the jury to be polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
Madam Clerk,
Yes,
please
Judge.
poll the jury with initials.
Yes. Lady and gentlemen of this jury, you've heard me read the verdict. As I call your name, if this is your verdict, please answer yes. If this is not your verdict, please answer no. Mr. A.L., initials A.L. Yes or no?
Yes.
Initials C.F. C.S.
Yes.
L.M.
Yes.
J.M.
Yes.
and C.A.
Now, I don't know a whole lot about this case either, but it is very shocking, this situation. And so, hold on. I'm just going to, let me just pull something up here really quick, because I do want to know a little bit more background, right? Because, again, what made them go, okay, this was, this is an M charge, right? What got him in there? You see what I'm saying? What got him in the courtroom for murder, right? I think that's something that's very, very, very interesting. Hold on. Let me just see here real quick. Let's take a look at this.
When we went off the air, the case against George Pino. The state rested yesterday afternoon before the jury was sent home for the day. Pino, a wealthy real estate developer, is on trial for manslaughter after his boat crashed into a channel marker on Labor Day weekend back in 2022. Pino and his wife had taken out 12 girls on their 29-foot boat to celebrate.
12 girls. 12. Damn. Here's a question, though. 12 girls. I mean, it's a decent sized boat, but it's 12 girls on that boat. Was he under the influence? Was he speeding? Was he trying to impress these 12 teenage girls?
Celebrate their daughter's 18th birthday. 17-year-old Lucy Fernandez was pinned under the boat after the crash and passed away hours later in the hospital. Another girl.
She was pinned under the boat, y'all. Oh my dear God. Yeah, 12, creep. 12 on that boat. You saw the size of that boat. For real, though. For real. Was he drunk? That's the thing I'm wondering. Was he drunk?
Girl, 17-year-old Guthrie Puig, was permanently disabled. The last witness for the state was the medical examiner, who detailed for the jury exactly how Lucy died.
There's bruising to the head and there's bruising to the back of the neck, deep. To me, would suggest in this case that when the incident occurred, most likely was propelled forward, striking possibly the front of her face or head, which compressed the neck.
Doctor, do you have an opinion as to the cause of the death of Luciana Fernandez?
Having reviewed all of the evidence that was provided, the photograph, the autopsy protocol, the circumstance of the case, which is clearly very important to us, the cause of death in this case was determined to be drowning. I would agree with that. I would have used slightly different language, complications of drowning. That's a style, not a difference of opinion.
Why would you say complications of drowning as opposed to drowning?
I use that term if the person, if you retrieve the heart function, depending on the circumstance, if the heart function is restored, technically they're still alive. However, the consequences of the damage done for whatever is the initial insult cannot be overcome, and therefore it ultimately causes the death. So I call it a complication of it. It could be blunt force trauma, it could be gunshot wounds, but in this case, it's drowning.
Parents of Lucy Fernandez in the courtroom, as they have been for the entire trial. Her father was the first witness called by the state. You see them listening intently with emotion as the medical examiner details the fate of their daughter, Lucy. Let's bring in Randolph Rice. He is a trial attorney. He's also a former prosecutor. Randolph, this case is now to the point where the defense has to make some decisions. The big one, of course, is the X factor, George Pino. They've been arguing that his injuries, his concussion at the time of the incident is the explanation for the changing story that he's told. To me, he seems like a huge wild card given his behavior in court to put on the witness stand. Any chance that he's the kind of guy that wants to get up there?
Hold on. So it's saying here, okay, okay. So I'm just reading this off camera really quick, or off screen. So yes, here we go. So the fatal crash, that incident, like we talked about, was on September 4th. September 4th of 2022, George Pino was piloting his 29-foot boat, okay? He's transporting his wife, his daughter, and 11 of his teenage daughters, friends, back from an 18th birthday celebration. So the collision. The vessel struck a fixed concrete channel marker that at an estimate speed of 50 miles per hour. The immense force of the impact capsized the vessel, tore a massive hole like we saw in the hull, and hurled 14 passengers into the water. So the casualties, we already know who lost their life. Her name is Lucy Fernandez. She lost her life. And of course, Katie Puig, I think is how they say it, suffered severe traumatic brain injury that left her permanently disabled and requiring around-the-clock medical care. Okay, so that's bad. All right. In total, 11 of the 14 passengers sustained injuries. Now, the core controversies and alcohol allegations. So, the case drew intense public scrutiny and media coverage. Okay. Due to several heavily debated factors. One, lack of a sobriety test. Okay, that's a big deal. Holy crap. We got some things to say here. Okay, so lack of a sobriety test. So law enforcement officers at the scene did not administer a breathalyzer or sobriety test for Mr. Pino. Pino maintained that he had consumed only 2 beers and did not appear visibly impaired to the initial responding officers. Okay, so he did not appear that he was under the influence, but there's a lot of people that can drink a lot and hold their composure and look and act sober, but be completely obliterated, okay, drunk, right? Completely intoxicated. Here's the other part. The 61 empty bottles. Investigators later recovered 61 empty bottles, alcohol bottles, and cans from the actual boat. Yikes. This discovery prompted the state to subsequently upgrade his initial misdemeanor charges to felony manslaughter. 61 empty bottles of alcohol and cans in the boat. Okay. Deleted evidence. As documented by the Miami Herald, the case was further complicated by revelations that body cam footage from 4 Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission officers at the scene had been deleted. Evidence was deleted. Oh, I'm thinking underage drinking like a mug. Absolutely. You got these girls, they're 17, going on 18, right? Dad, a millionaire. He's got his boat. There are parents out here that'll sit there and go, hey, as long as it's being monitored by us, it's all good. So it sounds like to me that they were kicking it on that boat. And he was probably consuming some beers or more than just beers. And they did not do any breathalyzer or any sobriety test on him at all. Here's the other part that I have a problem with. As documented by the Miami Herald, the case was further complicated by revelations that body cam footage from officers at the scene had been deleted. Why was that footage deleted? So, one of the main arguments that was happening in the trial, they were saying during this 8-day trial that prosecutors and defense attorneys clashed sharply over whether this crash was a criminal act or a blameless, tragic accident. And of course, they are basically saying the jury came back and said that this was definitely an accident. So George Pinot may have had a little bit too much Pinot in him, but we never found out about that, or they never found out about that. Don't know if he was driving under, if he was boating under the influence. I guess you drive a boat too. So you're driving under the influence. You're operating this massive vehicle, this massive ship, boat, ship, whatever you want to call it. And then you crash that mug, launching everybody. You're going so fast that you launch everybody out of the boat, including yourself. And the boat somehow lands on top of one of the girls, causing very serious injury. Don't know if that one was the one where she passed instantly. I think that's the one where she passed away because the boat was on top of her. So to me, the way I see it, this guy was heavily inebriated, kicking it with his kids and his kids' friends, probably trying to be cool and be like, yo, you cool. Just, it'll be fine. Have some drinks with me, so on and so forth. Maybe trying to impress him by going fast. And now you have this sad situation. I mean, people were side-eyeing the hell out of this one. Definitely side-eyeing the hell out of this one. Hold on. Wait, hold on. Let me see this. Wait, hold on. Let's take a look at this.
Welcome back. A real estate developer.
Apparently, there's body cam footage here. This is from a year ago. We got to take a look at this. Whoa. Whoa.
Welcome back. A real estate developer at the helm of a boat in a crash that killed a Lourdes Academy student in 2022 is now facing more serious charges.
NBC6 reporter Laura Rodriguez tells us what led to this, and she also obtained body cam video from the night of the incident.
A body-worn camera on a Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission investigator shows George Pinot surrounded by paramedics and law enforcement after the September 4th, 2022 crash near Boca Chica Key.
Train going back, we were coming through the channel, and there was two girls sitting in the back. A boat was coming. Correct. We were going by.
You leave the boat in the water at Ocean Reef, or is it on a trailer at Ocean Reef?
No, it's in the water.
Okay, it stays in the water.
So anyways, I turned back to look because there was two girls sitting at the back seat of the boat.
After the accident, Mr. Pinot said another boat caused this. There was no other boat, according to the state and according to the investigators. So that was an inconsistency.
An inconsistency that angered the parents of Lucy Fernandez, who say they've been seeking the truth since the day of the crash that killed their daughter. 2 years after the boat crash, prosecutors reevaluated the case, and George Pino is now charged with a felony. The charge is vessel homicide, operate in a reckless manner.
A man came forward from fire rescue who was a critical witness and believed that alcohol was a factor that resulted in the crash.
When asked by FWC to draw his blood, Pino declined.
So I'd like to ask permission to draw your blood. It's up to you completely. You know, I had 2 beers. And it's not illegal to boat and drive. It's not illegal to drink a couple beers and drive. I feel perfect in the way that my mind was. I mean, I know what happened. I've been operating boats forever. I've done that ride 1,000 times.
In a statement, Pino's attorney said, "I am dismayed by the state's surprise decision to file this new charge more than 2 years later. Officers on the scene of the crash determined that Pino was not intoxicated. Pino did not exceed any posted speed limit. Pino had the required number of Coast Guard approved life preservers on board the vessel, and despite sustaining a head injury himself requiring 15 stitches, Pino made heroic efforts to rescue the injured passengers, including diving under the capsized boat. This was an accident, not a crime, much less a felony." Unless other arrangements have been made, the Fernandez attorney tells us that Pino should be turning himself in, posting a bond, and then the court process begins yet again because of this new charge.
Yeah, I honestly think that mistakes were made. Liquor was used, was consumed. And then a mistake, a really tragic situation, a tragic accident happened here. But at the same time, you could see the people around him, his family, his family were very, very thankful that he was fine or that he was found not guilty. So maybe that's what they truly believe. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he really wasn't that bad. Maybe. But it is pretty insane that boating accident happened the way it did. And then it instantly I go, explain the 61 bottles of liquor and cans of, and beer cans and probably like seltzer cans and stuff. Why that many? What was going on? Right? But he's sitting there going, oh, no, I'm not drunk. Well, why don't you just do the test and let the test speak for itself? Do a sobriety test. Let them draw your blood to see exactly what's going on. But it seems like these, the PD just said, yep, that's it. You know what I mean? So interesting, Somebody just said, Patricia said, are you going to do an update on BC team? BC team. What's BC? I'm sorry. What's BC, Patrice? Help me out. Sorry. We went through a lot of things today. BC. What's BC? An update on BC team now? What is it? Because we already talked about Carmelo appeal stuff. That's already happened. We already did that earlier. So if you know, I don't know what BC is. Somebody tell me what BC is. Okay. Oh, British. No, BC. Nope. Just let me know. But I do think that because the people are really surprised about what happened here, there are a lot of people that are very surprised about this verdict. I don't know. What say you guys? Okay. What say you guys? Hold on. Okay. So, guys, that I'm going to be wrapping up here. I went a little bit longer than I expected, honestly. But I'm going to wrap it up because I got some things I got to go do. Okay. But of course, over the next couple of days, it's going to be a little choppy here on the channel. I will give you guys that heads up over the next couple of days. I will be putting up some, I'll be doing a live tomorrow and all that, but I'm saying like starting, Wednesday, it's going to be, it's going to be choppy for the next day or two. I will still be putting up, videos in shorts and whatnot, but I most likely will not be able to be live during that time. Okay. But just giving you guys that heads up. I'll be live tomorrow for show, but then Wednesday I will not be on. Okay. So just so you guys know all of that. Okay. But that is the show. Appreciate all y'all for being here. Really means a lot. Thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of the conversation. Please do me a favor before you head out. Hit that like button down below. Crush it, do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, hit that follow button. I'm on there. Especially go follow that Facebook page. We're putting out I'm putting out so much content over there. It's redunculous, okay? So make sure you're following over there. Please and thank you. Hit that become a member here. Not a member, my lord. Subscribe here to my YouTube channel. Subscribe. Go to my second channel, The Pascal Show Clips. Subscribe over there as well. That would be greatly, greatly appreciated. Subscribe, baby. Subscribe. All right, on both platforms, hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon and check out pascalmerch.com. We got some great stuff over there, so go check it out. pascalmerch.com. Anyway, guys, it is time to get going. Much love to you guys. Have a great rest of your day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Probably bright and early. We got things to talk about. So make sure that notification bell is on, okay? I'll be talking to you guys soon. Be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is The Pascal Show.